There is a quiet truth about canned food that most modern kitchens have stopped noticing. The right 12 cans, kept in a back corner of any normal pantry, do more work for less money than nearly anything else on a grocery store shelf. They are nutritionally dense, they store for years, they cost $1 or $2 each, and they handle everything from a Tuesday weeknight dinner to a 3-day power outage with no special preparation. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has confirmed, in plain language, that commercially canned foods with an intact seal are safe to eat indefinitely. The University Extension Service has documented that the date printed on a can is a quality date, not a safety date. The Tufts University Health and Nutrition Letter has documented that one specific canned food on this list contains 18 times more calcium than its fresh version of the same fish. Most households have no idea about any of this. The reason this matters is simple. A household with the right 12 cans on the shelf has solved most of its weeknight dinner problems, locked in current grocery prices on a year of pantry inventory for under $100, and quietly built a household reserve that does not depend on a freezer, a generator, or anything more complicated than a manual can opener. There is nothing dramatic about this. It is just well-considered pantry management. There is one item on this list that one of America's most respected nutrition publications confirmed contains 18 times the calcium of the fresh alternative, costs about a third as much, and stores for years instead of days. There is another item on this list that has been the foundation ingredient for generations of American casseroles, gravies, and one-pot meals, and that costs about $2 a can. 12 cans, counted down from useful to genuinely essential. Every claim sourced. Let's begin. Number 12. Canned diced tomatoes, the pantry workhorse. Canned diced tomatoes convert into pasta sauce, soup base, chili, stew, shakshuka, braised meat dishes, and a dozen other complete meals with no other special ingredients required. A single 28-ounce can produces enough sauce for a family meal. The food science behind canned tomatoes is genuinely better than it gets credit for. Cooked tomato contains more bioavailable lycopene than raw tomato. Heat breaks down the plant cell walls during the canning process, which makes the lycopene more accessible to the human digestive system. This is one of the rare cases where the canned version of a fruit or vegetable is nutritionally equal to, or in this specific way better than, the fresh version. For shelf life, the U.S. Department of Agriculture classifies tomatoes as a high-acid food. High-acid foods are safe indefinitely in an intact can, but maintain peak quality for 18 to 24 months. After that, the natural acidity gradually interacts with the can interior, and the flavor can shift. A 28-ounce can of crushed or diced tomatoes runs roughly $1.50 to $3 at most major grocers, approximate and varies by region. The next item is the ingredient that quietly transforms half the dishes in a pantry. Number 11. Canned coconut milk. Coconut milk is not what most households assume. The contents of the can are not the watery liquid inside a coconut. They are the rich, fatty pressed cream of mature coconut flesh, suspended in water and stabilized. A standard 13.5-ounce can of full-fat coconut milk runs roughly $2 to $4 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. The household value is wider than most people think. Canned coconut milk is the base for curries, Thai-style soups, Indian dals, and any creamy soup or sauce where a non-dairy alternative is wanted. It substitutes one-for-one for heavy cream in many recipes. The fat content is roughly 90% saturated, which means, like coconut oil, it is heat-stable in ways that polyunsaturated cooking oils are not. For shelf life, sealed canned coconut milk stays usable for 2 to 5 years, according to the USDA Food Keeper guidance. Once opened, the contents must be refrigerated and used within about a week. The practical move for households is to keep 3 to 5 cans on hand, opened only when a coconut-based recipe is being made. The next item is the canned version of the food we covered in detail in our first video. Number 10. Canned black beans. The food science of beans we covered in detail in our first video. The Utah State University Extension Service documents that dried beans store for decades. Canned beans are the convenience version of that same nutrition. A standard 15-ounce can of black beans runs roughly $1 to $2.50 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. The convenience comes at a small cost relative to dried beans, but the canned version is fully cooked and immediately usable. For a household that does not soak beans overnight, the can is the practical answer. The nutritional value is the same as dried. Beans provide a complete plant protein when paired with rice or corn. They contain fiber, iron, folate, and complex carbohydrates that release slowly into the bloodstream. A single can of black beans drained, mixed with corn, lime, and salt, becomes a complete meal for 2 people. For shelf life, sealed cans are safe indefinitely with an intact seal. Quality holds for 3 to 5 years. The next item is one of the most undervalued nutritional bargains in any grocery store. Number 9. Pure canned pumpkin. The critical word here is pure. A can labeled 100% pure canned pumpkin is essentially one ingredient: cooked, pureed pumpkin with no added sugar, no spices, no preservatives. A can labeled pumpkin pie filling is the same pumpkin with added sugar and pumpkin pie spices included. The 2 products are not interchangeable for most cooking applications. Read the label. The nutritional density of pure canned pumpkin is significant. A half-cup serving contains more than 200% of the daily recommended vitamin A, according to USDA nutrition data, almost entirely as beta-carotene, which is the safest form. It contains fiber, potassium, and a small amount of protein. The household uses extend well beyond pumpkin pie. Pure canned pumpkin works in soup as a thickener and base, in oatmeal and yogurt as a folded-in flavor and nutrient boost, in pasta sauce as a tomato blend addition, and in baked goods from muffins to pancakes. A 15-ounce can runs roughly $1.50 to $3 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. Sealed cans stay at quality for 2 to 5 years. The next item is the other end of the bean family. Number 8. Canned chickpeas, also called garbanzo beans. Chickpeas have one specific advantage over other canned beans. The liquid inside the can, called aquafaba, is a documented egg white substitute in baking. Aquafaba whips like egg whites, sets like egg whites, and replaces them in meringues, mayonnaise, and baked goods for households that bake without eggs. The chickpeas themselves are nutritionally similar to other beans, high in plant protein, fiber, and complex carbohydrates. They are the foundation of hummus, falafel, chickpea salads, curries, and roasted snack preparations. A 15-ounce can runs roughly $1 to $2.50 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. For shelf life, canned chickpeas behave like other canned beans, safe indefinitely with an intact seal. Quality 3 to 5 years. The next item is the highest protein per dollar in any pantry. Number 7. Canned tuna, chunk light variety in water. A standard 5-ounce can of chunk light tuna contains roughly 22 grams of protein for between $1 and $2.50 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. That works out to somewhere between 7 and 14 cents per gram of high-quality complete protein. There is no other shelf-stable pantry food that matches that ratio. The chunk light specification matters. Chunk light tuna is made from smaller species of tuna, primarily skipjack. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration classifies chunk light in its best choices category for mercury content, which means it is safe to eat multiple times per week, including by pregnant women. Albacore, or solid white tuna, made from larger fish, is on the FDA's Good Choices list with the recommendation of 1 serving per week. For shelf life, sealed cans of tuna stay at quality for 3 to 5 years and are safe indefinitely. The FDA recommends 2 to 3 servings of fish per week as the general guideline for adult nutrition. The household practical move is to keep 10 to 20 cans of chunk light tuna in the pantry rotation. The protein cost per meal is lower than nearly anything else in the grocery store, and the cans handle a power outage, a missed grocery trip, or a fast weeknight dinner without any special preparation. The next item is the most nutritionally surprising can in the entire grocery store. Number 6. Canned wild salmon with bones. The Tufts University Health and Nutrition Letter has documented something most households would never guess. Canned salmon with the bones included contains 18 times more calcium per serving than fresh salmon. This is not a typo. 18 times. The calcium-rich pin bones soften completely during the canning process, becoming so tender they blend invisibly into the meat. The calcium goes into the salmon. The salmon goes into the household. A 6-ounce can of wild salmon contains 22 to 23 grams of protein, similar to fresh salmon, plus vitamin D, plus the calcium boost from the bones. The U.S. National Institutes of Health lists salmon as one of the few natural food sources of vitamin D, which most Americans do not get enough of without supplementation or sun exposure. There are 2 important caveats from the same Tufts source. Canned salmon contains roughly 6 times the sodium of fresh salmon, around 399 milligrams per 100 grams, due to added salt during canning. And canned salmon retains roughly half the omega-3 fatty acids that fresh salmon contains. The trade-off is the calcium, the vitamin D, the shelf life, and the dramatically lower cost. A 6-ounce can of wild salmon runs roughly $3 to $6 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. For storage, sealed cans stay at quality for 3 to 5 years. If any of this is useful to you, a quick like helps me get this kind of careful research in front of more households. No pressure, just appreciate you watching. Let's keep going. Number 5, canned green beans and canned corn. The University Extension Service documents that the canning process preserves minerals for the entire shelf life of an intact can. Some water-soluble vitamins, particularly vitamin C and some B vitamins, are reduced during canning. But the minerals, calcium, iron, magnesium, potassium, are fully retained. The practical case for canned vegetables in any household pantry is the obvious one. The fresh produce in any kitchen has a 5 to 10-day window before it spoils. Canned vegetables sit in the back of a pantry for years, ready to fill in when fresh has run out, when a weeknight dinner needs a vegetable, or when a recipe calls for an ingredient the household does not have fresh. A 15-ounce can of green beans or corn runs roughly $1 to $2 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. The shelf life with an intact seal is essentially indefinite. Quality holds for 2 to 5 years. The practical move for households is to keep 8 to 12 cans of mixed vegetables in pantry rotation. They are the answer to the question, what vegetable should I add to this dinner? The next item is the ingredient that quietly multiplies the value of everything else on this list. Number 4, canned low-sodium broth. A can or carton of broth is one of the most flexible flavor multipliers in any pantry. Plain rice cooked in chicken broth is a completely different eating experience from plain rice cooked in water. Canned beans simmered in broth become a real meal. Frozen vegetables thawed in broth become a soup base. Canned tomatoes plus broth plus a few seasonings become a tomato soup in 10 minutes. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration's low-sodium labeling requires a product to contain no more than 140 milligrams of sodium per serving. Regular canned broth typically contains 600 to 900 milligrams per serving. For households that watch sodium for blood pressure or general health reasons, the low-sodium option is meaningfully different. The flavor difference is small, the sodium difference is significant. A 32-ounce carton or large can of low-sodium broth runs roughly $2 to $4 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. Sealed shelf life is 2 to 3 years. For households who want the most cost-effective version, bone broth made from scratch, as we covered in our last video, is dramatically cheaper. The canned version is the convenience option that fits any weeknight without time investment. The next item is the surprise tropical fruit that earns its pantry slot. Number 3, canned crushed pineapple. Pineapple contains a documented enzyme called bromelain. Bromelain breaks down protein, which is why pineapple is used as a natural meat tenderizer in marinades around the world. For households that bake, the same enzyme has practical applications in fruit-based desserts. The wider household use for canned crushed pineapple is its surprising flexibility. It works in baking, in glazes for ham and pork, in tropical salsas, in carrot cake and hummingbird cake recipes, in cottage cheese, in smoothies, and as a sweet tart base for fruit salad. A 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple in its own juice, no added sugar, runs roughly $1.50 to $3 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. For shelf life, pineapple is a high-acid food, which means quality holds for 18 to 24 months in a sealed can. Safe indefinitely with an intact can. The next item is the umami concentrate hidden in the canned aisle. Number 2, canned mushrooms. This is the can most people walk past, but it earns its slot for a specific reason. Canned mushrooms are concentrated umami in shelf-stable form. They are not a replacement for fresh mushrooms in dishes where mushroom texture is the point, sautéed mushrooms with butter and garlic, for example. They are the answer when a recipe calls for mushrooms and the fresh ones in the refrigerator have spoiled. They are the answer for a soup base, a stuffing, a casserole, or any preparation where the mushroom is contributing flavor rather than texture. The cost is meaningful. A standard 4-ounce can of mushrooms runs roughly $1 to $2.50 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. The equivalent of fresh mushrooms purchased and then partly wasted to spoilage frequently runs higher in real terms. For shelf life, sealed cans stay at quality for 2 to 5 years. And now, number 1. The canned item that has been quietly anchoring American household cooking for nearly a century. Number 1. Condensed cream soup. Cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, cream of celery. These 3 condensed soups have been the foundation ingredient of casseroles, gravies, slow cooker meals, and one-pot dinners across American kitchens since the early 20th century. The food chemistry is simple. A can of condensed cream soup contains roughly 50% water removed compared to a normal soup. The reduced volume means the can holds a concentrated base, flour-thickened, dairy fat-enriched, mildly flavored stock that becomes a complete sauce when liquid is added back. A single can plus a cup of milk or broth produces enough sauce to cover a complete casserole. The household value across generations of American cooking is significant. Green bean casserole, tuna noodle casserole, chicken and rice, slow cooker pot roast, hamburger and gravy over mashed potatoes. The condensed cream soup is the working base for an entire cuisine of mid-century and contemporary American comfort food. A 10.5-ounce can of condensed cream soup runs roughly $1 to $3 at most grocers, approximate and varies by region. Sealed shelf life is 2 to 5 years. For households that lean toward lower sodium or fewer additives, the low-sodium varieties offer roughly 50% less sodium with similar performance in recipes. For households with dairy sensitivities, dairy-free condensed alternatives exist in many grocery stores. The reason this item is at number 1 is its multiplier effect. The other 11 items on this list are individual ingredients. Condensed cream soup is the ingredient that turns several of the other 11 items into complete dinners with minimal effort. That is a meaningful position in any working pantry. 12 cans. Every one of them documented for shelf life by the U.S. Department of Agriculture or University Extension Service. Every one of them grounded in real nutrition science or generational household cooking practice. Every one of them under $6. What ties all 12 of these cans together is not emergency preparedness. It is everyday household practicality. A working pantry that contains these 12 items in rotation handles weeknight dinners, weekend cooking, unexpected guests, and the occasional weather disruption or power outage with no special preparation and no panic. The cans were always going to be there. They just happen to also work when other things fail. It is also worth being clear about what this video is not saying. This isn't a prediction of any specific event, and it isn't an argument for stockpiling beyond what a normal pantry can use. It is an observation that the right 12 cans, kept in normal household rotation, do more work for less money than almost anything else on a grocery shelf. The food science behind each one is documented. The action prescription is small. Here is the prescription. On your next 2 grocery trips, pick up 1 extra of 2 items from this list. Only the items that fit your household's cooking habits. A second can of wild salmon for the calcium and the omega-3s. A second can of pure pumpkin for the vitamin A. A few extra cans of broth and tomatoes for the next month of weeknight cooking. Total cost under $30 across 2 trips. The pantry quietly fills in. Diced tomatoes, coconut milk, black beans, pure pumpkin, chickpeas, chunk light tuna, wild salmon with bones, green beans and corn, low-sodium broth, crushed pineapple, mushrooms. Condensed cream soup, 12 cans. Every one earning its slot, most cost under $3. Of these 12, which canned food is always on your pantry shelf? I'm guessing diced tomatoes or chunk light tuna. Let me know what your household keeps a backup of. Take care.